Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amy and I am here with a craft and then some hauling it stuff. So stay tuned. Well, it's official, my openers still suck. So let's get on with it. So I know several of you are looking forward to when we finally get past all of this hauling and start crafting. And so I'm gonna do just a teeny little craft here at the beginning, and hopefully that'll appease, well, you're not mad, but hopefully that'll be interesting. So what I'm doing is I am taking windowed envelopes that come in the mail, you get them all the time, and I am going to turn them into windowed envelopes like this, to where it's pretty much just the window left. Silly, I know, but when you're working on the platform of junk journaling and you want to use junk instead of just going out and buying stuff, this is a great way to do that. So I'm going to just start with this one. So basically when I do this, I figure out about how much of a border, because I like for things to be pretty symmetrical, but I'm not so anal in this case that I'm going to measure, because you could easily do that, but I'm not going to measure. But I know I'm going to want about a border like this on this side. So I need to like double it of where I'm going to cut, I guess is, I'm not a very good, I need practice doing crafts. I'm trying to tell you how I figure out where I'm going to cut the envelope. So I'm just going to take this and kind of eyeball it and double it over here. And a lot of the envelopes that I open, I don't have a letter opener, and so a lot of the ones that I open, I've just used my finger, so they're pretty jagged. But obviously, you can use a paper cutter, or like paper opener. But like in this case, this one opened really easily, apparently. So so that one's a little different, but it doesn't matter for what we're doing. So again, I'm doubling this space over here, and I'm just gonna cut straight up. It doesn't even have to be straight, you guys. That's what's great about this. All right, so we end up like this, and then some people undo this and use this side as scrapbook paper. So especially with these security envelopes, there's so many different designs. There's even a group of people, I don't know what they're called, that collect these and have, I stumbled across this somehow, where I don't know if they were having a festival or a meetup or whatever, and it was going to be like a trading thing where they were going to all bring their security, I don't know if they like punched them into stamps or what they do, and then they trade them. So you guys, there's a market for everything. But anyway, so yeah, so this will be great. I really wish that you could kind of take this apart and make the envelope in reverse, but you can't because of the way the this part is on here, you know, that would come off or whatever. So anyway, when you get this, then you're going to make a diagonal cut down here in the corner to about halfway. So about halfway across, and then you're going to cut up like this. So let me do that. I am kind of anal though, because I'm like, oh, I hope that was even. And then because this one has the flap, you guys, I've never done one with the flap, but I know it's been done before. But I believe I need to, when you have a flap, I believe I need to cut part of it off as well. So I'm gonna just do that. I'm cutting along here to about where I think, to about here. And then I'm gonna just cut, I guess we're learning on the fly since I haven't done this one before. So I end up with this. And then the idea is that you want to curve this part to look like this side, but we'll do that in a minute. But first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the side that has the windows, I'm gonna take it and fold it in so that it is even with where you cut down there, you know, to seal up the envelope. So you take it and you fold it down, and you know, you can crease it pretty good. And then now I can just cut this part off. Let me look under my glasses. I really need to get bifocals. I think this next time when I go to get glasses, I think I'm gonna say, I don't care if you don't think I need bifocals, get me bifocals. Because it's so annoying having to look over and under and all this stuff. All right, so then you cut that off. So it's like this, and now we're going to put some glue on this part that we folded. So it doesn't matter what kind of glue, I just happened to bring this up because I kind of like, this is a good all-purpose glue because it also works on fabric. But I like when I use this, it's kind of like rubber cement almost too. But it feels cold when you use it, and I kind of like that feeling. So anyway, I'm just putting, you don't need a lot. So I'm just putting glue all in there, and then you just push it down. And then some will possibly come out if this bottom part of the flap is smaller than this part. Oh yeah, and we can see I didn't do well with where I cut this, did I? But that's okay. I think I'm just gonna cut that part off. But, so anyway, you can, you know, get the glue off on your hands. This is the kind of glue that, like rubber cement, it just, you know, you can rub it off. But anyway, you push down on this. Some might come out the sides, and that's okay. It doesn't take very long for that to dry. But had I done a better job at cutting this, I would have then kind of looked at this side and pretty much just kind of rounded off the, it's not at all the same, but, and then it would have sort of really looked like a new envelope. But anyway, I'll cut this part off later. But anyway, you end up with kind of a symmetrical envelope that you could then put sideways in a journal and stuff it. Obviously, you might not like the, you know, whatever advertisements or whatever kind of, I mean, we've got Principal Insurance. And so you'll see plenty of videos where people take scrap paper and collage, decoupage, whatever, around the edge to make it look nicer. But if you're just into junk, you can just use it like this. And then you just end up with a bunch of these. So because I'm going to be doing ring bound or cinch bound, will punch over here, and then I can just slide something in, maybe with a pretty picture that'll show through there. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably not going to decorate the outside of this because I don't do the shabby chic kind of, I don't see that as my style. And I don't know, I think I'm fine with it looking like junk. Now these come from my bank, so they have a nice huge envelope. So these are probably my favorite because it ends up, you could put a really nice picture. This isn't big enough, This is almost postcard size, but really nice picture with a tab sticking out so it's easy to pull in and out. And yeah, so that's our little craft moment for this, and a great way to kind of use up those kind of envelopes. And of course, sometimes you get windowed envelopes as return envelopes inside your letters, and those are even better because they haven't been damaged at all. And then if you get good or actually measure, then you could create a new envelope with the flap that looks okay. All right, so started with a craft. Now next I'm going to do a few eBay finds. I found a couple things on eBay that I want to show you. One I already opened, and the other one came today while I was at work. But then, you guys, I don't know if you watched my video a few videos back where I showed some items that I had bought on Etsy from Sweet Shop Scraps. And I must have made a comment in there like, I don't know where she finds these cool things that she has in her listings. But she watched the video and she messaged me and she said that she likes to go to creative reuse stores. And she's like, just Google it, you know, creative reuse stores near me or whatever. So I did. Now, she did also send me a link to somebody's website that tracks all these stores by state. So I will, if I remember, link to that down below. But you guys, we went there today and oh my goodness. Well, that's what this haul is going to be after I show you the two. But yeah, I don't know how it is that I can have, I don't know. I feel like I've been in this world for at least 2 years because I've had this channel now for 2 years. And at least there was a lot of people showing junk journals intermixed with their Temu hauls and stuff. So I feel like I've known about junk journaling at least for 2 years. But yeah, I am still a newbie in terms of, I mean, I'm the dope that's going to the antique stores, and Peanut is on the table. Sorry, so it's kind of shaking things. So yeah, so I'm the dope going to the antique stores paying probably top dollar for things when I could be going to these creative reuse stores and getting some of this stuff. All right, let's hope she doesn't step on the keypad. So, all right. Can you come over here? Or go back whence you came? From whence you came? Yeah, get down. Okay, so anyway, the first thing I got from eBay that I already opened is this Flora's gardening cards. Now, I've been telling you that I really would like to get some cards that are flowers or birds or something. I mean, I have some, but not very many. And so I spotted this on eBay, and I don't remember what I paid because sometimes shipping can be expensive on eBay. And this is pretty heavy. But, and the other thing with sometimes eBay sellers, I'm not saying that about this one, but I think I am kind of, because I don't think this seller had pictures of the cards that were inside these. So I kind of tried to Google to see if I could see some examples, and I think I found one. So I wasn't positive, but I thought, well, I'll give it a try. But it is full of gardening cards, and what's nice about them is they all have a tab. So it would make a nice tab in a journal if you placed it right. And so there's several different categories, but I'll just pull out, oh man, sorry. Pistachio. Okay. Anybody need to go get some seasickness pills? All right, I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to still give it a try. So anyway, let me pull out a few of these. So this is the first card for this section, so it's just, I guess, all picture. But then you get the different cards, and this is what they all look like. So I was... What am I going to do, you guys? Oh, now they're fighting. Now they're fighting on the table. Okay. I would push them off, but they would just jump right back on. So we will try to just... deal. Okay, so that was those. So I was really happy with that. And then I found, kind of at the same time, this other set of gardening cards, which is older. So let me get my box cutter out of my... I was smart enough to bring my tool kit to the table with my handy little box cutter. So let me open this box. But this is another, but it's kind of the style of the Betty Crocker recipe cards that came in the plastic case, whatever you call it. So it's these are supposed to be kind of like that. And I wasn't sure if they would actually send the case, but just by the size of this box, I think they did, which, you know, good. It didn't say it wouldn't come with the case. And I feel like these are about the same time period as the Betty Crocker ones. Oh man, this is heavy. So it looks like this. So this was possibly another one of those subscription by mail kind of deals. But let me... Okay, so there's... Oh, these are kind of thin cards, but there are divider cards. And let me just take a few out of that. So then we've got, well, this was gardening. This whole set was gardening. So I guess it's all kinds of things that you garden. Homegrown loofah sponges. But yeah, so I think these will be fun to use as well. And I probably shouldn't buy any more. Wouldn't you agree? Oh, what section? Children's gardening. Some of the other categories: garden flowers, foliage, houseplants, shrubs, flowering houseplants, herbs. Do they have a mushrooms? That would be fun. Begonias. Begonias has a whole section to themselves. Bulbs. Gardening under lights. African violets and what does that say? Gesnerides? I don't know how to say that word. Gesnerides, since the I is first? I don't know. So yeah, so those, do any of these have a copyright date? 1978. So I think this one was cheaper actually than the other one that I showed you, but the shipping was more expensive because it's obviously way heavier. So, all right. Now, the Creative Reuse store. So we walked in, it was in the basement of a building, but it was like a walkout basement to this building. Like upstairs, I think they do tutoring or some kind of education stuff. So it's probably a lot of sorry, I about bit my tongue there. A lot of teachers that donate to this place. And, I mean, that's kind of the impression I got. But anyway, you walk in, and we had never been there before, so we didn't know how it worked. But I could see right away that there was this one section up front that said, don't put any of these things in a bag. These things are all priced separately. And then we went, they had a whole bunch of books, bookshelves and stuff, but we couldn't tell prices. Like I said, we didn't know how it worked. So then we went up to the front and asked, and they said, well, if it's something that's marked, and pretty much it was that, like what they called the gift shop area. And then there was the scrapbooking area was specially priced. And then the books, it was 50 cents for a paperback and $1 for a hardback. And everything else you just fit into a grocery bag. And then you pay $15 for what you fit in the grocery bag. And so Jason, I think, got $4 of books. And he and Galia filled up most of a paper bag. They did have a little bit of space left, so I was able to put some of my stuff in their paper bag, and then I filled up a whole paper bag. So we got out of there for $34. I don't have the things that Jason and Galia got, but I have all the things that I got, and we will just kind of quickly walk through that. So the stuff of mine that was in their bag, it's kind of half the bag, I guess you could say. And there's a few of these things that Jason picked up that I never even saw, like these Bosco Sticks bags. So it's an interesting, I don't know who donates to places like this, but yeah. So, and this wasn't even all of them, all of the bags, and there's no limit. You can fill up as many bags as you want of stuff. So yeah, so he was kind and didn't take them all. If I had seen them, I would have taken them all, because these are great. You put these in a journal. If you want to put them in a signature, cut off one end, and then you've got, you know, a pocket on both sides. Or you could, you know, maybe cut it down if you want a pocket. But, and then some people would still decorate this because they wouldn't care for the Bosco Sticks part of it, but I don't care. I think that's fine. And then I found a day timer, which I just got it because I liked, there's not very many pages. I mean, it's, you know, I don't know why it's called a day. Oh, it says address and phone directory. So yeah, so I just got it because I liked the paper. And I found a whole tub of index cards and dividers. So I picked a bunch of those up. Now, I don't know if these are, okay, they're not folders, they're just divider tabs, but these would be great in a journal. And then a bunch of this size index card. I don't know, this is almost like a half sheet of paper, so whatever that size is. And there were some that had, you know, more aged look to them, and there were some that were colored. And it would be easier if I just got this whole pile out of here. Okay. So there were a bunch that looked like this, and they're plain on the back. I like them because of the tab, really. It's like a built-in tab, but of course it's easy, you know, you can write on that. And then there were a few that look like this, and they're also a thicker cardstock than others. Oh, and then there were some just plain of that same kind of design. And these are the half paper size, and that I was only going to get these, but then I was like, well, Amy, that's kind of dumb. Get some of the index cards that are the same size, because shoot, you could make a journal just with that stuff. And again, some more labeled tab ones, and then there was a whole bunch of these blue ones, and these are super thick. So I feel like I really could make a whole journal with like 3 of these and then stuff all my vintage ephemera in them, since I'm cinch bound. So yeah, I got a good stack of those. And this stuff was heavy. Now they weighed our bags, but it didn't affect the price, but they did document it. So I don't know what that means, because they also had a bunch of textiles and things that would be lighter. So I don't know what the purpose of the weighing was. So anyway, just more cards. Okay, so that was everything in their bag. And then my bag, I did a better job packing my bag, and it's literally filled to the top. So we've got this, which is a vintage 1969 Milton Bradley. So they're addition and subtraction wheels. So it's got instructions in here, but then it had a bunch of these kind of cards, which I thought were cool. And you could write on the back. Sorry, I wish. So Pistachio is in a mood, I guess, a playful mood. I guess we'll just leave it at that. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of these cards in here. And it looks like there's some that are a different color, so hold on. Oh, so the addition ones are red, and then the subtraction ones are yellow. So that, I've never seen these before. Oh, Peanut is down on the floor trying to tease her. Yeah, they get all excited when there's someone out here to keep them company, I guess. I don't know. So then I found this Addo, or okay, good. Now they're both off. Arithmetic game. And this one is 1953. And it's got cards that look like this. But you guys, it's got these little things, which I guess it's kind of like bingo. Yeah, because like here's the master sheet, but yeah, it's full of cards, and I guess these are for the people, you know, to put when you get it. But yeah, now I've been playing around, or I bought some glossy accents to create. Okay, I also bought jump rings that were about this size, but you guys, those are trapped in the bedroom that got covered with all this stuff that I need to haul. So I can get to the glossy accents, but I can't get to the jump rings. But the idea, I mean, when I'm looking at this, I'm like, I could make little charms almost. And I don't know who would want a charm with this, but it's about the right size. Put my jump ring, fill it in with the glossy accents, and that could be I mean, people like numbers, so that could be a cool thing. So that was a cool little find. And then, let's see how I'm gonna do this. Because I have to, since I'm in the living room, I have to box everything up after I'm done. The stuff that I don't think I'm going to use right away, and it's going to go to storage. But I'm going to label the boxes, unlike the last time, so that I know what's in them. Then I just picked up a bunch of these CD things, which really, it's kind of the same idea as the envelope we made in the beginning, right? It's just a windowed pocket. I have some of these, but the ones I have are kind of primary color kind. So I thought it would be good to have some just plain white. And then they had a ton of tables set up with yogurt cups. What is going on here? With yogurt cups, and you just take the whole yogurt cup if you found something that you liked. Well, I found these bingo cards, which I thought would go great in some future bingo kits. And so I just picked those up. They don't look like they're very old or anything, but they're kind of cute. You know, they kind of have a retro vibe to them. But I don't imagine any, well, unless there's like one card in here that would tell me either the B1 or, but yeah, whatever originally went with this was all that was left. So yeah, so I just picked that up. And then kind of the same thing with this. It was just a little thing full of these paper die cut flowers, which I thought would be great to put on pages, make a border on a page, or, you know, whatever. So I picked that up. And then in the haberdashery section, I picked up some lace edging. I was trying to get different designs. I think I did. Yeah, those are not the same. And then this one's a little bit more like the edging for a pillowcase or a collar or something. And so it felt a little older, so I liked that. And then this one is not as exciting. They're all very similar, but they're good colors, I feel like. And I got this trim. This feels like polyester, but it's not really very stretchy. So I don't know if this was trim for upholstery, maybe, but I thought that would make good trim. And just a little piece of blue. Okay. And then in one of those yogurt cups, I found this. So I just took this. I didn't want the yogurt cup for that, but you guys know I like finding these. And in the fabric section, there were a couple bins that had upholstery samples. I don't think any of them were wallpaper samples. I think they were all upholstery. So I got several different pieces of that. I don't know what the difference is. Like this, it's a little rougher, but it also kind of feels like quilting squares. But I thought, you know, I'm not as adept with fabric, but I thought something like this, I could easily, like even with this, I could cut it in half or cut it on the diagonal and make a corner pocket or you know, a tuck spot like that. So there was a few kind of that size. And then this, okay. And they all have, probably because of whatever book they were in, have holes down here, and they need to be ironed. But I got several of this size. Okay, that was just yarn. I was like, what is that on the back of that? Oh, these are, maybe they used to, it looks like they were kind of taped together maybe. I like stripes. I like what are they called? Ticking stripes? Like you would see on a mat, the material that they use to put on a mat, well, the old cheap mattresses. I actually have some digitals in my coffee shop of ticking stripe, blue ticking stripe paper. I really like that, and I have one piece of that kind of material, and I don't know what it is about it, but I just really like that for some reason. And then there were some that were kind of like these are pretty thin, so I'm not sure, maybe these would be more like drapes or whatever you call drapes now, because they feel kind of thin. But these are no joke, pretty thick. Now, Hyper Stamper, she sometimes uses cut upholstery, no, embroidery, cut embroidery as pockets. I think that's right, embroidery? I don't know. But this seemed kind of similar to that. Now, it's possible that the second I cut this, it all comes unraveled, and it's a big waste of money. So I don't know, you guys, if I can cut it. Now, it says it's acrylic, polyester, and worsted wool. So I don't know if that means you could burn the edge, but I guess that'll be something to figure out for another day. But I kind of like these kind of retro patterns. Now, they're not all, I mean, some of them are more like, this is indoor outdoor material. I guess that makes more sense. I could see somebody maybe using that outside, but who am I to judge what somebody wants to cover their furniture with? So, and then there were multiple different brands. So I liked the size of this one because I thought it would be really easy to cut in half. And this one's got some kind of a backing on it. Like it's not just material back here. I don't know. It feels kind of rubbery almost like it could have been a rug, but it's not anywhere near thick enough for that. But I thought this would be really easy to cut in half and just have as a page in a binder or in a journal. So I got several of this brand, and they were all pretty neutral. And then back to these kind of indoor outdoor ones. But yeah, they had a whole tub, and I just picked out the ones that I thought might be the easiest to use. This one, in case I ever do something dog themed. So I've always wanted to get a hold of a wallpaper sample book or an upholstery sample book for the samples. So I kind of was enjoying the fact that they had some. And if I go back and they still have some, I may get some more if I can figure out the correct way to use them. Okay, nope. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna take a break here and try to get her off the table, and I'll be right back. Hi, let me take a brief moment out of our video to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Junk for Goats. Junk for Goats is my business where I sell and resell vintage, antique, and some modern ephemera for all of your junk journaling or crafting needs. I have shops on Etsy, Whatnot, and I list my digital items on my coffee shop. All of the links for those are below in the description, so please check that out. It's also important to note that 10% of all the proceeds from my sales are used to purchase goats from Compassion International. Those goats are provided to families across the world to help them meet their own families' needs in terms of their diet, but they can also take and sell the milk and the cheese that they produce from their goats to their friends and family nearby, helping to provide them with a income source that is valuable in the areas in which they live. So if you would like to craft with a difference, please check out the description below. And as always, thank you, and please enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks. Okay, we'll see if that works. It probably won't, because you know how cats are. Curiosity killed the cat. All right, then some ribbon. They had lots of ribbon, but again, I don't really know how to use ribbon either. So I like this kind of thicker one because I feel like I could just cut it and use it as a pocket or a belly band. Seems like that would be simple enough for a girl like me. And then they had a whole bucket full of doilies. And if I could have found some that looked like they could have been cut in a way that wouldn't unravel, I would have gotten some. But all the ones like that, they looked like they weren't stiff enough or something. So I didn't think they would survive being cut. And this one seemed like a decent size on its own. And of course they had bunches of stickers. I think these were in a bucket of, well, like holiday stickers or, I don't know. But there was some good variety. There were also planner stickers in the same box. I wasn't too interested in those, but somebody would have had a field day with those. But there were also, like, you know, like when you're packing or wrapping for Christmas and you put a seal on, you know, with a tag, because some people, you know, if it's not a bag, you maybe can't tie the tag on, so you use a sticker. And I imagine a lot of these probably initially came from those companies like St. Jude, or those organizations, I should say, St. Jude, that, you know, solicit donations at the holidays by giving you stickers. Oh, and then I found a bunch of, yeah, see, these are the Easter Seal Society. So a bunch of actual stamps. So I tried to kind of pick out, this box was huge, but I tried to kind of look for those kind of stamps. So I did find, these almost look like the kind that would have gone in a book that you have to paste the right animal to the page. But these are wildlife resources. So yeah, I don't get any of these companies asking me for money, so they don't send me any cool, I don't get any cool stamps. But I tried to, when I saw ones for birds and fish, I of course latched on to those. And then I found this. Crochet embellishments. They were originally $1.50, and they just look like they would be cool on a page. And a couple of Hallmark Valentines, probably not at all old. Although it says 1965. Do you think that's really right? That these are from 1965? Maybe. I mean, those are the kind of colors that you see in a lot of Hallmark cards from that time period. All right, then I found these cool index cards that were graph cards. So, of course, I picked those up. No, get down or sit down. Thank you. Sorry. I'm going to be getting comments. Please don't film in the living room where the cats are. Some more now. These, if you recognize these, I worked in a library for 8 years, and you could recognize these as card catalog cards, but they are all blank. But I still liked them because I could stick a little ribbon on that in the thing. But I also found stacks of library cards, loads of them. So they're different though. There's different kinds. So some of them look like this. Some of them look like this. Maybe it's just those two kinds. So picked those up. I mean, shoot, you can buy these on Temu, but now I won't have to. I think Temu probably has them in all different colors. They also had a bunch of 1-cent stamps that don't appear to have ever been used. There's no cancellation mark on these, so I'm not really sure what that's about. But I got a bunch of them because they were fruit. Most of these are the same fruit. Peaches, apples. I think they're apples. And yeah, so I don't know what that's about. And then some of them were flowers. I think those were the only two designs on there. But you guys know I like my stamps. And it was funny because also places like St. Jude and Easter seals, a lot of times they'll also send the memo pads, and I've shown those on this channel before, and I didn't get any, but I saw some memo pads that had the name of somebody I knew on them, somebody who has since died, a minister that was fairly popular in my particular non-denominational Christian church, Churches of Christ line. So that was kind of, it was kind of like, oh, I know him. And it's like, oh, but he's gone. So I was kind of sad a little bit. But then I got these little score sheets that'll go in a future score sheet kit. And then there were these that are, well, tabs. They're perforated so that you can put tabs on appendix, course outline, some of them say. So there were a few different generations, you might say, of these, but I'm probably gonna use them kind of like tickets. Like this one's never been opened. This one looked like it was the oldest of them, but I could easily, okay, so this one perforates, well, yeah, it perforates like right in the middle, so I could put a whole strip in a pocket or something. But yeah, so like there was an office supply section with loads and loads of binders. So heck, it would be a great place to go for getting your school supplies for your kids that need binders, because binders are stupid expensive, and they had a ton of them, of both the colored kind and the view binders that you can, you know, slide sheets into. And then I got this pad of paper just because it was different from H&R Block, and it's all the same thing. Kind of a weird thing, but. And then they had a whole bin of doilies. Oh, but here's the popcorn bags. I wish they would have had more of these. I only saw the 3, so I bought those. But they had a whole bin of doilies. So I picked out these pink ones. And maybe the Dollar Tree comes out with pink ones once Valentine's Day comes near. I don't know. I don't feel like I ever see them, but maybe I just wasn't looking. But then there were also some red hearts, different sizes. And of course, different sizes of these. And these could be the kind from Dollar Tree, but they're not the same. And they felt a little bit more intricate, but these are great to coffee dye. And these ones that are like super big are good for folding and making pockets out of. So, and of these kind of white and tan ones, I just kind of picked a sampling. I tried to just, if they seemed more intricate than what I'd get at the Dollar Tree, I tried to pick them up. Let me just flip through. That's more intricate. Oh, some white hearts. There weren't very many of those. I really tried to look for the different colored ones or shapes. They had some that were kind of tie-dyed looking, but I left those there because I wasn't a big fan. They weren't all uniform. Oh, and then these felt vintagey, whatever that means. But they're a little more ivory than white. And these are all stuck together. I think that was it with those. And just more, okay, well, these were Rolodex ones. So I picked those up. It's a bigger size than you would expect for a Rolodex, but I thought that would be fun. Some more ribbons. I don't know, you wouldn't call these ribbons, would you? But anywho, some more of those. More stamps that are just loose. All right. Oh, so I'm always seeing people selling the vintage Denison labels, and I finally found some of my own. Now these are kind of boring in comparison, but there are ones that look like that. So that was kind of exciting to me. And then these are kind of old vintagey file folder labels. Not too exciting, but I figured if nothing else, I can use those to label my stock. More index cards. And then this was in the charitable memo pad bin, but I thought these were really pretty. Now this says the St. Labor Indian School, and I can't tell where this is, but maybe you know. But yeah, I just thought those were really pretty, so I got that. Weekly planner. Oh, well, it's just a bunch of paper that looks like this. So again, just something different. More library cards. I would have loved it if they would have had some old card catalog cards. You know, when I think about, I used to create those when I worked at the library, and when I think about now how I should have been like when the library I worked for decided to get rid of theirs. I'm assuming they have gotten rid of theirs. I should have been like, I created a bunch of those, so I want a whole box of those just for myself. But no such luck. All right, then they had a small little package of onion skin paper or tablet. And so was fun. I like finding that, which you don't find it very often. And then this is just bond paper. It's a pretty thin paper, but I don't know. I mean, I could print on it if I wanted to, but it looks like it's kind of an odd, oh, it's 9 by 12. So I don't know if my printer can print on 9 by 12. It probably can, but just paper. And it seemed like it felt like it was old. So sometimes that's all it takes. And then these are not old, I don't believe. 2007. Oh, well, they're older than I thought. But cupcake deck, and let me just pull one of them out. I don't know how many are in here. Does it say? I don't know. But it's these cute little cards. So I mean, it gives you the recipe, and then I guess you can make your own notes on the back. It sounds like there's like a tow truck outside. Well, one of my neighbors runs a tow truck business, so it probably is. So there was a bunch of cards in that. And then, not really sure why I got these, but there's a lot of them. But I guess I know, I mean, I know why I got them. I got them to label my stock. But, like, I can't figure out how these were used. Like, what these, because there's like a big one over here, and then there are all these little ones. So it seems like a very specific thing that would have been for. Down. Yeah. What is it? Just seasickness pills, whatever it is. I guess for my next few videos, you might want to grab some. So yeah, so I just got these simply to label my stock, to make it easier to fill orders later. And then they had a whole bin of these, although these were the only two like this, and I picked these up because these would be really easy to, once I do my cinch punching, to put these on, although the cinch punch is made for the kind that opens up or whatever. But I have seen people use them with this. So I got these, and then they didn't have any of the cinch kind. The rest of them were the plastic that typically you have a machine that opens it and then closes it. So it was a little different than the machine I've got to use, so I didn't get any of those. But I'm telling you, they got so many things. And then some alphabet cards. I don't know. Maybe for learning to read. And, oh, more labels. Intermixed with more stamps to just label stuff. And then, oh, there's even more. Hold on. There's even more of these stamp style stickers. So, lucky me, right? And then the rest is maps. So they had 3 big bins of maps, and of all different kinds, and some of them were Reader's Digest maps, and some of them were AAA maps, and some of them were the free maps that you could get at rest areas. But I kind of picked, well, looky here, St. Louis, Missouri. So I picked kind of the ones that were in this style. And there were also some of the Reader's Digest ones that had a similar style to each other. So I picked up a few of those. What are, oh, I also did pick up some of this close-up style from National Geographic. But then there were these like full color where there was no border. A lot of the National Geographic ones have borders, but there were a few in there that didn't, so I picked those out. And yeah, so that appears to be it. So for $34, and not even all the $34 was mine. I think this was actually a good thrift haul. Unlike the ones that I call thrift hauls that are antique stores. But I mean, some of these things, I will be honest, I can just list straight out in my Etsy shop. People are always looking for vintage maps. Now I feel there's a few I got, a couple I got that were a little bit different. They were kind of smaller, and they were European, right? Hopefully that part's not in Asia, but so some little, hopefully I'm hoping that they're actually with a foreign language on them and not just English versions. Yep. So awesome. And yeah, so I really enjoyed that. So I'm gonna be sure to send Sweet Shop Scraps a message thanking her for alerting me to, there's I guess 2 of these kind of places in my area. There's also one in Springfield, Illinois that came up when I looked near me. I mean, that's about 2 hours away from me, hour 45 minutes. But yeah, I'm pretty happy for the price and the variety of things that they had. So maybe there's one near you if you're interested. And if I remember, I will try to put the link to that website that has it. But if not, you can literally just Google creative reuse stores near me. So, all right. Well, I did bring out my nostalgic TV trivia, and you can still join my mailing list if you'd like. And if you do, you will get instant access to a digital download of these seed packets that I created to print out at your leisure. And that is the only place that you can get those. All right, nostalgic TV trivia time. Oh, and if I didn't mention this before, in my timeline, I'm filming this on a Tuesday, and I don't know when it's going to air because I still have, I think, 3 videos that I filmed prior to this that will be airing before. But in my timeline for me today, I discovered that my community page was turned off or something because of changes they made at YouTube. And so people couldn't leave comments. So I apologize for that. And it's turned on now in case you want to leave a message. All right. What was country music's answer to Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In? What character does John Ritter play on Three's Company? Name 2 of the 4 body parts of the $6 Million Man, which were bionic. What former soap opera star was a guest on Dallas as defense attorney Paul Morgan? What is 2 mints in 1? Name Richie Cunningham's sister in Happy Days. Who starred as Galen on the Planet of the Apes? Name Beanie's pet sea serpent. Okay, you guys, a lot of these I I'm familiar with at least. I've at least heard of them, but whether I know the answer, I guess we'll see. What was country music's answer to Rowan and Martin's Laugh In? I want to say Hee Haw. That's like the only country kind of variety show that I can think of that might have been in the same time period. I feel like that was on like on Saturday nights or something when I was little, and I can't say I liked it very much, but I wonder if that's where I became familiar with the Mandrell sisters, like Barbara Mandrell and her sisters. I can't think of anything else I would have watched that would have had them, but anyway, that's my guess. Hee haw. What character does John Ritter play on Three's Company? Well, I feel like his name was Jack. Jack. I don't know if they have to have the last name, probably, but if it is Jack, I'm going to take the point. But I can't, a last name is not coming to me. But I did see, so Jason and I, if I haven't told you this, are watching through the Bob Newhart show. And there was an episode with John Ritter on it where he was a waiter in a restaurant, and he was hilarious. You guys, he died way too young. He was hilarious. All right, name 2 of the 4 body parts of the $6 Million Man, which were bionic. I don't know if it was him or if it was Lindsay Wagner as the bionic woman, but I feel like the eye was one, and I of course feel like the legs were one because he was like a good run super fast. And I don't know. Those are going to be my 2 guesses, but if I had to guess more, then I'm going to say his arm and his heart, like what else would there be? It can't be his hair. His hair can't be bionic, right? I don't know. But maybe his ear, like he had bionic hearing, maybe? I don't know. What former soap opera star was a guest on Dallas as defense attorney Paul Morgan? Well, I watched Dallas, but I have no idea the answer to this. Former soap star? I don't even know what to guess. Please stop. There's no reason for you to be up here. Stop. No. If you want to sit, then sit. Okay. They're like little kids, these cats. So I don't even know what to guess. I really don't even know what to guess. So what 2 mints in 1? I want to say Tic Tacs. Yeah, please. It's okay. Jump down. I don't know where you're going to jump to because all the stuff I just hauled is sitting here, but so I can't think of any other mints that it might be. Name Richie Cunningham's sister in Happy Days. Well, it was Joni Loves Chachi, right? The spinoff. So Joni Cunningham, played by Erin Moran. I feel like she might have died recently. Please just get down. I watched her on a Celebrity Fit Club, maybe? Or Dr. Drew something. She was on one of those kind of shows. It seemed like her life didn't go very well after she was done acting on those 2 shows. Who starred as Galen on Planet of the Apes? Well, I don't know, but I'm going to say Roddy McDowall just because, to me, he's the most famous of the apes. So I'm going to say that. Name Beanie's pet sea serpent. I have no idea what that even is. So, a horsey? I don't know. Okay. What was country music's answer to Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In? It was Hee Haw. Oh, right. What character does John Ritter play on Three's Company? Jack Tripper. This is always tripping. And it was kind of like Jack the Ripper, only, you know, not. Name 2 of the 4 body parts of the $6 Million Man, which were bionic. Both legs, the right arm, and the left eye. So I said all of those things because I did say legs. I didn't say right leg or left leg, but it was only the right arm, but the left leg or the left eye. All right. What former soap opera star was a guest on Dallas as defense attorney Paul Morgan? Glenn Corbett. Oh, what is 2 mints in 1? Certs. Are certs even still around? Gosh, I can't remember the last time I saw a certs. Really? Really, Kitty? Even though her name's Peanut, I always call her Kitty. You just want to be loved. She's like, well, maybe not that much. Name Richie Cunningham's sister in Happy Days. Joni. Who starred as Galen on Planet of the Apes? It was Roddy McDowell. And name Beanie's pet sea serpent. Cecil. Okay, so I got Hee Haw, Jack Tripper, the body parts, Joni, and Roddy McDowell. I got 5. That's one of my best showings. I hope you all did well too. And I just want to thank you for watching and spending time with me. I really intended to start making a little bit shorter videos, but this one is not. It looks like it's going to be just as long as all the others, but that's because I was really trying to get through all this one thing. But next up is going to be the haul from Litchfield, where I bought the 20-ish crates, boxes of who knows what. So if you want to see if I totally wasted my $300, actually $325, because I ended up when we went back to pick the rest up, I did buy another box for $25. If you want to see if I totally wasted my money, tune back in for that. But is my phone here somewhere that I can take time to also thank my members? I was pretty sure that I brought it in here, but I do not see it under all of this stuff. So if you are one of my members, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I also appreciate those of you that have subscribed, those of you that are just viewers, but I hope you'll consider becoming a subscriber. All of that adds up, and I did earn a YouTube paycheck last month, just barely, like a couple bucks over. You have to earn $100 worth to get your check, and I earned like 102. So thank you so much. That money is paying for all of this that we're looking at. So thank you. And 10% of it does go to my Junk for Goats charity. All right. Well, I think that's it for this episode. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you'll consider coming back. So wherever you are, whenever you are, I hope you're having a great day. And until we meet again, take care of yourself. Bye.